Hello, everybody. This is Arian. I work at DoSpace, and today I will be doing a webinar over, honestly, just a bunch of quick Windows 10 shortcuts. These are going to be kind of your really quick keyboard shortcuts or a few mouse shortcuts, but specifically designed for Windows 10. Although if you have an Apple, you can use a lot of these because obviously the Control and the Alt keys are the same. And a lot of the time, in place of the Windows key that we'll be using, if you just use that Command key on an Apple, it'll work just fine. Although I will stress again that these are specifically for Windows 10. Some of these may not work with an Apple, but if you see anything interesting, I'm sure an Apple computer will be able to do it. Just go ahead and do a quick Google search for it and you'll be able to find it. And with that, we'll just jump right in here. Maybe go to the next slide. There we go. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to mention, as I mentioned before, is our kind of three keys that we're going to be using. The first key here is going to be your Control key. The next key is going to be the Windows key. The key after that is going to be the Alt key. These are going to be the three keys that you're going to need to do most of these shortcuts. You should definitely remember them, write them down, although you can always just look down at your keyboard and that's where they'll be. So this first tip uses the Windows key. This isn't really a shortcut so much so as a tip that I always like to tell people when I'm trying to convince people to upgrade from, let's say, Windows 7 or Windows XP. I always try to highlight that the Windows search feature is just huge. It's really, really, really useful and really beneficial. And I'll go over to a little fresh desktop here and we can show it. All you have to do to use this tip is simply press the Windows key and then just start typing. So let's say I wanted to go and look at my display settings. I've already hit the Windows key, as you can see, and I can just type in display and I can go right into my display settings. This is really quick, really easy. Even if I had, let's say, a document I wanted to find, I can always go over to my documents or my apps. We can actually, of course, now that we're here, we can always open up Word. I'm gonna go ahead and open up Word here. Let's open up a new blank document. But yeah, the Windows key search feature is incredibly quick, incredibly fast. It is one of the main reasons why I always tell people to upgrade to Windows 10 is just for this feature. Let's go back. On that. And so the next tip, our actual first real tip, is how to create a little virtual desktop. I just illustrated that earlier. As you can see, we can go back to that desktop. It still has Microsoft Word up, but how you do that is simply by pressing the Control key, the Windows key, and then the letter D. What that will do is it'll give you a new, free, clean, fresh desktop. So I can create a third desktop here. As you can see, this desktop isn't running PowerPoint and it's also not running Word. We can always go back to the one that's running Word here. We can go back to the one that's running PowerPoint here, but Windows key, the Control key, and the letter D. This is really useful, especially with all of us being either working from home or maybe some people are going to school from home. And let's say you had a really cluttered desktop and maybe you just wanted to get some schoolwork done or some homework done. You can always create a new fresh desktop with the Windows key, Control, and D. Now that we can see that tip, we can go ahead and kind of learn how to navigate between our virtual desktops. So let's go forward. Yeah, the fastest way to me to navigate between these virtual desktops is the Windows key, Control, and the left or right arrow key. That's what I was using before here. I can do the Control key, the Windows key, and then the right arrow, and that'll take me to my rightmost desktop. I can hit right again, and that'll take me to this one. And then I can hit left just to go back to them. We can switch between them really quick, really easily. Sorry if I made any of you guys a little sick there, but you can move through them really quick, really easily, with just the Control key, the Windows key, and the left and right arrow. So another tip kind of utilizes tab, and it can also be used to navigate between your virtual desktops. This is kind of my preferred way to navigate between virtual desktops, and it is just the Windows key plus tab. Windows key alone, but the Windows key plus tab pops out your kind of like a little virtual desktop navigator. As you can see here, here's our first desktop running PowerPoint. Our second desktop running looks like Chrome and Microsoft Word. Our third desktop isn't running anything. I'm actually going to go ahead and close that. But kind of the nifty feature of this is, as you can see, I'm running, oh, don't want to do that. In our second desktop, as you can see, I'm running a Microsoft Word in Chrome, but if I wanted to run Word in that first desktop, you can simply pick it up and put it in that first desktop. Look over here now, my empty Word document is running in that first desktop along with PowerPoint and Zoom. And if I wanted to take it back, the second I am kind of on the first desktop, I can just pick it up and put it back on the second desktop. Once again, that's the Windows key and Tab. It's not the fastest way to navigate between your virtual desktops, but it is a really, really useful tool to navigate between your virtual desktops. And as you can see at the top here, you can always create a new desktop. We can create 50 of these if we wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. It's going to slow your computer down a lot, but having a couple is really useful, especially when it comes to maybe trying to keep your work separate from your kind of personal life. So, and this next tip is another tip featuring Tab, and it is a tip just to navigate between applications on your current desktop. And that is simply the Alt key and the Tab key. And so as you can see here, I'm actually going to utilize it here. You can see just by pressing Alt and Tab, I can see every single thing that's running on this current desktop. It's like I've got a little Slack menu up, and I've got PowerPoint, and I have my Zoom. Let's actually go, let's pop PowerPoint out, and you can easily, just by stopping on it, you can select it. You can hit Alt Tab, and every time you hit Tab, it takes you to a different application that's currently up and running on your website, or rather on your desktop, not your website. But yeah, that is kind of the Tab key and how it can be really very useful. And this next tip I use all the time. I used it a few times this week, honestly, and it is simply the Windows key and the arrows keys. And what this does is it automatically resizes your windows and allows you to put windows side by side, or allows you to kind of do weird things with how you want your windows while they are side by side. And I'm going to use the Control key and the Windows key to get back to our Word document. I'm going to actually open up a new Word document here. You can see this is now document 2. I have 2 Word documents going. And now a lot of times I actually like to have my Word documents side by side, or let's say you have a website and maybe you're kind of copying something from a website, or maybe you're just kind of doing a little bit of research and you want to have your website on one side. We can actually use Chrome for this. And all you're going to need to do is it's just the Windows key and the arrow key. So I can immediately send that to the left. I actually hit arrow left. I hit Windows key, arrow left. Then it immediately gives me the options to put whatever other applications I'm running on that right side. So let's put document 1 over there, and it automatically resizes it for me. And so even if I wanted to add in that third document, document 2, I can just hit the Windows key down, and then it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to put this other one up there? And of course I do. So there you go. You can have one up top, one down at the bottom. So instead of spending a lot of time resizing your windows to get them side by side, just to simply press the Windows key and the arrow key, left, right, up, down. You hit the up twice. It should, if you're on just one, hit the up twice. It should just make that one your full screen menu. But yeah, Windows key, left or right, quickly and easily resize all of your items, get them side by side. Like I said, I use this tip all the time just to put documents left and right, so I can either kind of research and write, or write and research. Same thing. All right, so let's go back to our original page here. On to the next tip. This is tip 6. This tip is all about the Windows key functionality. If you remember from the first slide, I said the Windows key is your best friend. It really is your best friend, as it contains one of my favorite tips. And it is the Windows key plus V. This is so much better than your normal paste that I honestly don't use Control V anymore. I really just use the Windows key and V. So we can actually go back to one of our kind of arbitrary, our arbitrary desktops here. And let's actually shrink this with the Windows key down, like that. There we go. So how you utilize the Windows key and V, let's say we wanted to type, hey, hello, not help, hello, cannot type today, and howdy. And obviously this is going to be kind of a poor example because we can with them side by side, we can easily pick them up and drag and drop them, or we can just copy the entire thing. But a lot of times I will use the Windows key V paste when I am, let's say, programming or coding and I want to have individual things selected. You can see I actually just copied all three of those. Or another way how I like to use this is, you know, sometimes you will be copying something and before you can paste it, you'll copy over it. I do that all the time. But by simply pressing the Windows key and V, it'll give you out that little pop out there. I'm going to hit it again, and every single thing I copied is saved. So howdy, hello, and hey. All three of them right there, and we can hit it again. As you can see, you can easily clear it all, or just individually get rid of each of them. But this is honestly, it's so much better than the normal paste function. I seriously have stopped using the normal paste function. But yeah, Windows key V, pop that out. The first time you do this, it actually will have to be activated. So the first time you do it, it'll give you a little pop-up like this, except it'll say, hey, clipboard isn't turned on. Would you like to turn it on? Just go ahead and turn it on, and you can start pasting. So let's go back to our PowerPoint here. This next one is a slightly slower search, is what I call it. It's very similar to the very first search that I showed you, which is by tapping the Windows key. This is the Windows key plus S, and that takes you right into kind of the search functionality of the Windows button. And it's pretty much exactly the same. It's, like I said, it's a slightly slower way to do what you can already do with just the Windows key. But if you have like a weird affinity for the letter S, you can always hit the Windows key plus S, and it's going to get you right into your search. You can see we can find Word, we can find all of our documents, our apps, our settings, et cetera, et cetera. So after that, these next two can be really useful. A lot of my tips are kind of like for how to deal with a cluttered desktop. I'm not a fan of cluttered kind of desktops. You have a lot of apps going, but let's say you did. We can actually bring forth a few more things here, make it even weirder here. I made a few extra file explorers. So you can see we've got a lot of things going. This is like a Windows 98 kind of desktop looking right now. There's a lot of things going on. You can easily press the Windows key and M, and that minimizes everything. Alternatively, you can just press the Windows key and D, and that takes you to your desktop. They both have the same functionality in that they minimize everything and just give you your blank desktop back. So Windows key and the letter M for minimize, or Windows key and the letter D for your desktop will minimize everything and just take you to a fresh desktop. And you can just take a deep breath and not see 42 file explorers open on your computer. Closed all of those. And this next tip is going to be for when you go back to work, hopefully, and you're maybe giving a presentation and you're giving a PowerPoint presentation. This next one is a little presentation menu, and it is simply the Windows key and P. Now, what pressing the Windows key and P does is it gives you this little pop out on the right-hand side here, and you can easily duplicate your screen. You can easily extend your screen. Once you have it connected to a projector, this is going to be a lot faster than going into your display settings and kind of fishing around, where do I need to go, or to actually even if you're using our Windows key search for display, it's going to be a lot faster than that. Just Windows key P, and it's going to give you this little kind of quick menu of like, hey, what do you want to do with your computer? Do you want to duplicate your screen? Do you want to extend it? How do you want to kind of use it with this projector that you have going? So that is the Windows key and P for that project menu. And this is kind of one of my kind of favorite tips. I think a lot of us grew up where Control-Alt-Delete was just Control-Alt-Delete. So I'm going to hit Control-Alt and Delete here. And we can see kind of what happens is it gives me this kind of switch user, sign out, change password, task manager. It gives me a lot of different options. It gives me a lot of different options. I don't like that. I honestly don't like that I have so many options. When I hit Control-Alt-Delete, I really want the task manager to show up. I really want it just to show up, but instead we get that. So for me, one of the fastest ways to get that task manager to show up is simply by using that Windows key based search. So just press the Windows key, and once you start typing task, you can quickly go And you don't even have to finish typing Task Manager. You can just go straight into Task and that'll pop out your Task Manager. Alternatively, you can hit Control Shift Escape, which if you look down at your keyboard, they're all right in a row, perfectly in a row for you. Control Shift Escape, that will give you the Task Manager right away. This is kind of my preferred to Control Alt Delete, just Control Shift Escape. You can see I hit it a few times here. Really easy, really quick. You can see what I'm running. Got Zoom, I've got Microsoft PowerPoint, Control Shift Escape. I'll close that. We'll go back. All right, and this next tip I actually used earlier to kind of further clutter my screen, and it is the Windows key plus the E key. And this just creates a bunch of extra file windows. As I mentioned before, I really like to kind of have things side by side. So a lot of times I'll pop out File Explorer here and I'll be like, I really want to move maybe desktops to downloads, but not really desktops to downloads. You know, a lot of times you'll have a bunch of documents and you want to move your documents to a specific folder. Easiest way for me to get another File Explorer is to just do Windows key and E, and you'll get another File Explorer. And of course, using Windows key left, can easily put them side by side. And now I can easily move back and forth between my File Explorer. So yeah, Windows key E to get a new File Explorer. And of course, Windows key left or right to adjust your windows to get them side by side. But yeah, you can make as many File Explorers as you want just by Windows key E. You can pop out 6 or 7 or a dozen of these things. I don't know why you want that many, but you could realistically have that many. And for this next tip, I'm actually gonna go back again, and this is just a secret power of the Alt key. This, I don't know that a lot of people know that the Alt key can do this. If I go into Word here, we go and take a look at our hey, hello, and howdy. If you simply press the Alt key, all of your kind of shortcut pop-ups pop out. This works with the vast majority of your Microsoft software and a lot of other apps as well. If you just press the Alt key, it will give you the options for what letter or number or combination of letters and numbers you would need to hit to kind of utilize that as a shortcut. So I'm going to start with, let's say, Alt R, and this just takes me to review, and it clearly worked. Really, this tip is for if like I'm constantly going to layout. I go to layout every day. Now you know. All I need to do is hit Alt P, and that's going to take me to layout, or Alt G for design. The letters not really kind of perfectly aligned, but this works in anything. It'll work in, not in anything, but it'll definitely work in all of the Microsoft Office suite, and it'll work in our File Explorer as well. If we just hit Alt again, you can see Alt H will take us home. Alt S, we'll hit Alt S, and it'll give us a share. I don't really want to share anything, but so just by simply pressing the Alt key, it'll give you a load of shortcuts, way more than I kind of can talk about in this one video here. But the Alt key, if you're ever kind of curious about, hey, I wonder what that shortcut would be, just press the Alt key, and it'll give you the list of the shortcuts. I'm going to move back here. Oh, I did that. I'm actually going to put that back. And this next tip, Alt F4, closes your current window. This tip is a little bit, let's say, meme famous. It's a little bit meme famous. And in that, a lot of times on the internet, you'll see someone kind of asking a question like, hey, how do I move my desktops folder to my documents folder? And someone will kind of jokingly answer, hey, just hit Alt F4, which of course will close that current program. So this is a really useful tip. If you are going, or if let's say your internet browser is stalled, you can just hit Alt F4 and it'll close it. You might actually, on some computers, you might actually have to hit the function key as well. So it makes it a little bit more cumbersome, but Alt F4 is going to close your current window. If I try to close this Word document, it's going to ask me if I want to save or if I want to cancel, et cetera, et cetera. But Alt F4 is going to close your current application. Like I said, this is really useful. And if you have a stalled program or a program that's not working, Alt F4 is going to quickly allow you to close that program. All right. And for our next tip, it's all about zooming in. Maybe you wanted to zoom in on a document, or maybe you just really wanted to just see the pupils in the eye of a mad scientist. I don't know, but you can easily hit the Windows key plus the plus key or the minus key, and that'll zoom in on wherever your cursor is located at. So if we go back to our kind of demo page, I really want to take a closer look at this W and howdy here. So I can just do Windows key plus the plus key, and it'll start to zoom in. We can go all the way in. We can really check out that HOWDY. You can really check it out. And of course, the minus key zooms you out, but it's going to zoom in wherever that cursor is currently located. So if we want it to be on the hey, Windows key plus A, wherever your cursor is currently located, that's where it's going to zoom in at. The Windows key and the plus key or Windows key and the minus key is going to allow you to zoom in to any location on your current screen. We can go ahead and close this. This next tip isn't really a keyboard shortcut. This is another tip that I kind of tell my friends about whenever I'm trying to convince them to upgrade to Windows 10. And that is your Action Center. And I'll go over to this one. Your Action Center is going to be located here. It's this little button here. So your Action Center allows you to do a number of things, right? You can turn on your night light. I'm pretty sure you guys can see that. You can adjust the brightness of your computer. You can turn on Bluetooth devices. You can even go to airplane mode. All right, hopefully we're still connected here. Hopefully we're still connected. All right, I think so. All right, yeah, should not have gone to airplane mode, but you can always go to airplane mode. We can always go to airplane mode. You can, if you have a touchscreen, you can turn your computer into a tablet, and you can also even pop out that kind of projects menu that we were talking about before. But the Action Center really does allow you to kind of quickly, switch between quickly used items, like your network or like your brightness or Bluetooth, or even if you had a VPN you wanted to turn on and turn off, you could always do that. All right, so after the Action Center, we have tip number 11. This is all about emojis, and it took me a long time to get all of these emojis, but it can be really easy to do. But before that, I'm actually going to talk about how to lock your desktop. Actually, yeah, the Windows key plus L locks your desktop. Eventually, we're all going to be back at work or back at school, and you're going to want to lock your desktop before you walk away from it. Privacy and security are definitely of the utmost importance at all times. I'm actually not going to demonstrate that here, but if you just hit the Windows key and the L key, you will quickly lock your desktop before you walk away. No one can snoop at your computer. No one can look at your computer. Just quickly lock it. All of your documents and files will be safe. Now, the next tip is all about the emojis. The emojis, as you can see, I have a few kind of sprinkled around this page here. And all this does, actually, it is simply the Windows key and the period. And all this does is once you press Windows key and period, on some computers, it actually might be Windows key, comma, but on most, it should be Windows key and period. All that does is it just pops out your little emoji window, and you have full access to all of your emojis. As you can see, in Word, they all kind of show up as black and white, but if you're in other programs or software, they will be their full color versions of it. But in Word, they're all black and white. Yeah, Windows key and period gets you to your emojis window. So drop all the emojis that you would like. Let's not do that. Let's do that. All right, and so for tip 12, this is all about control. And this, I kind of decided to include this mainly as a response to Macs. So your Control S, your Control P, and your Control F are all really very useful features, right? So if we go over to this, typically on a Mac, you'll have a taskbar up here, and regardless of the application that you are running, you're going to be able to do a quick file print, file save, and Microsoft doesn't have anything like that, right? Every single application that you go into, you're going to have to fish around through the menus. Where's the file, or rather, how do I save this? How do I print this? At DoSpace, we run into this problem all the time where different applications, someone is just trying to do something very simple like print, but the print's kind of hidden in there a little bit. But if you simply hit Control P, it's going to take you right to that print. And that works across a host of applications. It definitely doesn't work in all of them, but it works in a lot of them. So just the control key and P will quickly allow you to print regardless of the application that you're in. And control key and S will quickly allow you to save regardless of what application that you are in. So we may not have the kind of taskbar at the top like a Mac computer will that will allow you to kind of execute these from application to application, but with a simple press of the control button and the letter P, you can quickly and easily print, or the letter S, you can quickly and easily save without digging through a host of menus. And for this one, control F to find any word or phrase. This is another one that I use a lot. I'll go into Chrome here. I already have a little bit of Robert Frost stuff. So yeah, let's say that you wanted to find every time that he used the word at on this page. So quickly count them up. The first one to respond with the correct amount of ats on this page gets a free DoSpace membership. All right, too late, because there's the answer. There are 36 ats on this page. And I guess pieces of the word, or pieces of the letters A and T. So a little bit in that, and creature and late. But this is another really quick feature. If I were just looking for every single time he mentioned the word stars, I would be able to find that. Apparently, Robert Frost in this book uses the word stars 2 times. So this is really good and really quick and easily for searching between documents, or rather searching within a document for a specific word or a specific phrase that you are looking for. And this kind of bonus tip here is another one of my kind of favorite kind of tips and tricks. I'll go back to this little demo desktop here, and we'll kind of shrink a few of these down. I'll pop this one up here, and we'll open up a few extra file explorers just for demo's sake. And you can see, once again, I really am not a fan of cluttered desktops or cluttered spaces. So the quickest and easiest and fastest way, even faster than that Windows key M or Windows key D that I showed you earlier to kind of minimize everything, even faster than that, I can pop them all back out here, pop out all my file explorers here. Even faster than that is simply to mouse click down. So I'm holding it down, and then just shake. Shake it, everything goes away. Everything off of your desktop goes away. And of course, you can always shake it to bring them all back. Shake it to make them go away. It's even faster than either Windows key D and Windows key M. Shake them to make them go away. Shake them to bring them off. You can sing a little Taylor Swift while you're doing it. So 13 is kind of a little bit of a catch-all. I don't think we're going to get to all of these in the next few minutes, but I'll try to get to a few. So this next one is primarily for gamers, the Windows key G. If I hit Windows key G here, it may take a little bit. There we go. It actually pops out my games menu. And as you can see, we can do a ton of things from this menu. It's showing me my kind of GPU, my CPU, my RAM. It's showing me my audio mixing. If I wanted to, I could add in an extra camera. I can mess with my controller. The Windows key and G is absolutely great if you're gaming. It's really easy. It's really convenient to use. So that was just a little quick aside. I'm going to do one more, and then we're probably going to see if we have any questions, and then we're going to call it a day. So this next one I'm actually going to skip down a little bit because this is another one of my kind of favorites. If you do a screen cap, if you ever wanted to kind of do a screen cap, the best and easiest way is just to do Windows key, Shift, and S. So I'll go over to the demo, and we'll do the Windows key, Shift, and S, and that's going to pop out a little snippet window. If we wanted to, we could drag it and do this whole thing. It's going to actually open it up there, but I don't want to do that. But do Windows key, Shift, and S again. But you can also drag it up, drag it along, or do a little design. You can draw your own design, or you can actually highlight an actual full screen clip here. But yeah, Windows key, Shift, and S. And with that, I think I'm going to call it. As you can see, we have a few extra tips. We have a few more of these kind of going, and I will try to get back to, and I'll try to answer some of these questions here. I can see one question, how did I get to the Action Center? I'll go ahead and demo that real quick. We'll get back to our demo window, which is Control, Window, and the arrow button. The Action Center is just up, or actually, I'm sorry, I'll actually move mine to the bottom. Yours is probably going to be down here. I like to keep my taskbar at the top there, but yours will be at the bottom. And right here is this little, almost looks like a little comment. But if you press it, that will take you to your action center. And this is going to have, once again, your brightness, your night light, your Bluetooth, your VPN. Typically, I'm using it to put my computer quickly into airplane mode or into or to quickly adjust the brightness or maybe quickly switch networks. But yeah, it's simply right down there, and typically your bottom right corner. All right. And if we don't have any more questions, I'm just going to thank you guys for your time. And yeah, just definitely keep going to DoSpace.org and checking out the DoSpace Facebook page for more tips and tricks and webinars. We have a lot of things coming. So yeah, definitely stay tuned to DoSpace.org and to the DoSpace Facebook page. Thank you guys for your time, and see you later.